Commander pressed her four-fingered hand against the cold glass of the observation deck. Outside, the endless darkness of space stretched in every direction. No stars looked familiar. No navigation system worked properly. The fleet of 12 ships had been drifting for 47 cycles now, and hope was becoming harder to find. She turned to face her crew. Their blue skin had lost its healthy glow. Their large silver eyes showed exhaustion and fear. They had traveled across galaxies for thousands of years. They had met many species. Most of those meetings ended in violence. The universe, they had learned, was not a friendly place. "Commander, we have maybe 15 cycles of power left," said Navigator. His voice was tired. "After that, life support will fail." Closed her eyes. Their jump drive had malfunctioned during a routine voyage. Instead of arriving at the trading station, they had appeared in an unknown sector of space. The jump drive was now completely destroyed. They had no way to call for help. They had no idea where they were. "Keep scanning for any signs of civilization," she ordered. "Any planet, any signal, anything." The fleet contained over 8,000 souls. Families lived on these ships. Children played in the lower decks, not understanding that death was slowly approaching. Felt the weight of every single life on her shoulders. 3 more cycles passed. Power reserves dropped lower and lower. Then, on the morning of the 50th cycle, everything changed. "Commander, I am detecting signals," shouted, jumping from his seat. "Artificial signal, radio waves, light pulses, digital transmissions." "Rush to a station. Show me." The screen displayed a solar system with 8 planets. The third planet from the star was covered in blue and green. It was alive with activity. Thousands of satellites orbited it. Ships moved between the planet and its moon. The amount of communication traffic was enormous. "This species is advanced," said quietly. "Very advanced." Fear crept into his heart. Advanced species were dangerous species. The more powerful a civilization became, the more protective of its territory it usually was. They had learned this lesson many times. They still carried scars from encounters with the Empire and the Crystalline Collective. "Can we avoid them? Find another path?" she asked. Shook his head. "We do not have enough power. If we want to survive, we must enter their system. We need fuel, we need supplies, we need help." Stood silent for a long moment. Asking for help from an unknown species was incredibly risky. They might be attacked. They might be enslaved. They might be killed for simply existing in the wrong place. But what choice did they have? "Take us in," she commanded, "and prepare for anything." The fleet moved slowly toward the blue planet. As they crossed into the solar system, ordered all weapons powered down. She wanted to appear as non-threatening as possible. It probably would not matter. Most species shot first and never bothered with questions. Within hours, they were detected. Multiple ships began moving toward them from the blue planet. Counted 20 vessels, all sleek and fast. They surrounded the fleet with practiced precision. "They are hailing us," the communications officer announced. "Open the channel," said. She prepared herself for threats and demands. Instead, a voice came through speaking in a language she did not understand. But the tone was not aggressive. It sounded almost concerned. The ships had basic translation software. After several minutes of communication, a rough translation began to form. "Unknown vessels, this is Earth Fleet Command. You appear to be in distress. Do you require assistance? Please respond with your status and needs." Blinked, she looked at. He looked back at her with equal confusion. "They are asking if we need help," she whispered. "Not threatening us, asking to help us." She did not trust it. This had to be a trick. No species offered help to strangers without wanting something terrible in return. "Tell them our situation," she decided. "If they intend to harm us, they will do so regardless. Perhaps honesty will serve us better than deception." The communications officer sent their response. He explained that they were lost. Their jump drive was destroyed. They had almost no power left. 8,000 lives were in danger. The reply came quickly. Understood, do not be alarmed. We are sending support vessels with fuel, food, and medical teams. Please transmit any specific requirements. We want to help you. Felt her heart pounding. Medical teams, food. These beings called themselves humans, the translation software finally indicated. Humans wanted to give them supplies without any mention of payment or servitude. This cannot be real, said. But it was real. Within 6 hours, the first human ships arrived at the fleet. They moved slowly, their lights blinking in patterns that seemed designed to communicate peaceful intentions. Every movement was careful and deliberate. Nothing about their approach suggested aggression or hidden weapons preparing to fire. Over the next several hours, human ships docked with the vessels. Humans in protective suits entered carefully, moving slowly to avoid frightening anyone. They brought containers of food and water. They brought fuel cells and power generators. They brought medical supplies and doctors who studied biology in real time to provide appropriate treatment. The first human met in person was a tall man with dark skin and kind eyes. He introduced himself as Dr. Williams, Chief Medical Officer of the rescue mission. He carried a translation device and spoke slowly so they could understand. "Please show me your sick and injured first," he said. "We have brought everything we might need, but we want to understand your biology better so we can help properly." Led him to the medical bay herself. She watched as human doctors examined patients with incredible gentleness. They asked permission before touching anyone. They explained every procedure through the translation devices. When a mother became frightened that her child would be taken away, a human nurse sat with her for an hour, explaining everything and offering comfort until the fear passed. Watched in amazement as a human doctor treated a sick child. The doctor was gentle and patient. She smiled at the child's mother and used hand gestures to communicate comfort. "Why are you doing this?" finally asked a human officer named Captain Sarah. The translation devices had improved enough for direct conversation now. Captain looked surprised by the question. "Because you needed help. Why would we not help you?" "Because we are strangers. We are aliens to you. We have nothing to offer. Most species would see us as threats or opportunities for exploitation." The human captain's expression changed. Something like sadness crossed her face. "I am sorry you have experienced such cruelty, but that is not who we are. Helping those in need is one of our most important values. It does not matter where you come from or what you look like. You are living beings in trouble. Of course we will help." Struggled to understand this philosophy. In her experience, the galaxy operated on power and self-interest. Kindness was weakness. Compassion was exploited. The strong took from the weak without mercy. Yet here were these humans, giving everything and asking for nothing. The rescue operation continued for days. Human engineers worked alongside technicians to repair critical systems. Human chefs learned dietary needs and prepared appropriate meals. Human teachers entertained the children with games and stories while their parents rested. One evening, sat with Captain and asked more questions. She learned about human history. She learned about their wars and their mistakes. Humans had not always been kind to each other. They had committed terrible acts throughout their existence. "Then how did you become what you are now?" asked. Captain thought carefully before answering. "We learned. Slowly and painfully, we learned that cruelty brings only more cruelty. We discovered that helping others makes us stronger, not weaker. When we finally reached the stars, we decided to be the kind of civilization we always wished we had met. We wanted to offer friendship instead of conquest, understanding instead of fear. And this works. Other species do not take advantage of your kindness." The human smiled. "Some try, and we are not foolish. We protect ourselves when necessary. But we have found that most beings, given the choice between friendship and conflict, will choose friendship. You just have to offer it first. The concept was revolutionary too. Her entire understanding of the universe began to shift. Over the following days, walked through her own ships and witnessed countless moments of connection between humans and she saw human engineers teaching mechanics new repair techniques. She saw scientists sharing knowledge about deep space navigation with curious human researchers. She saw children from both species playing together, laughing despite not sharing a common language. One particular moment stayed with her forever. An elderly named Morin had been dying when the humans arrived. The doctors had done everything possible, but his body was failing. A human medical team worked through 3 nights without sleep, studying biology and developing a treatment. Against all expectations, Morin survived. When visited him in the medical bay, Morin held her hand with tears in his ancient eyes. "I have lived 400 cycles," he said weakly. "I have seen empires rise and fall. I have witnessed wars that destroyed entire star systems. Never, in all my long life, have I seen strangers work so hard to save someone who means nothing to them." "You mean something to them," replied softly. "Somehow to these humans every life means something." She also learned about the humans' journey to the stars. They had faced their own struggles. Climate disasters had nearly destroyed their civilization. Wars had torn their nations apart. Disease and poverty had caused immense suffering. Yet somehow, through all of that pain, they had chosen to become better. They had looked at their dark history and decided their future would be different. "We call it the Great Turning," Captain explained during one of their conversations. "About 200 years ago, humanity faced a choice: continue on our destructive path and die, or change everything we believed about ourselves and survive. We chose to change. It was the hardest thing our species ever did, but looking at where we are now, it was worth every sacrifice." Wondered if they could make such a choice. Her people had been shaped by the cruelty of the universe. They trusted no one because trust had been punished so many times. Yet here was proof that another way was possible. Here was evidence that a civilization could choose kindness and still thrive. After 10 days, the fleet was fully restored. Power systems worked perfectly. Food supplies were restocked. Every injured crew member had received treatment. The humans even helped repair the navigation systems so they could find their way home. "We cannot begin to thank you," told the gathered human officers before departure. "You saved 8,000 lives. You asked for nothing in return. You treated us with respect and dignity when we expected death." Captain stepped forward. "You are always welcome here, Commander. Earth will be your friend. And when you return to your people, please tell them about us. Tell them that the galaxy does not have to be a place of fear. Tell them that kindness exists among the stars." Nodded, feeling emotions she had never experienced before. "I will tell them, and perhaps someday we can return this kindness. Perhaps they can also learn to offer friendship first." The human captain extended her hand. Had learned this gesture during her stay. It was a greeting of peace and respect. She took the hand and shook it firmly. "Safe travels, Commander. May your journey home be swift." As the fleet departed Earth's solar system, the humans sent one final message. It contained star charts showing safe routes through nearby space. It contained frequencies for emergency communication if they ever needed help again. It contained scientific data that the humans shared freely, knowledge that most species would guard with their lives. But most importantly, it contained personal messages. Hundreds of individual humans had recorded wishes of safe travel and good fortune for the families who had hosted in their homes, doctors who had treated the sick, engineers who had repaired the ships, children who had made new friends. Each message was simple but genuine. "Come back and visit us someday. We hope you find your home safely. You are always welcome on Earth. Thank you for letting us help you." Watched these messages with her senior officers. Several of them wiped tears from their silver eyes. These were seasoned soldiers who had fought in dozens of battles. They had faced death without flinching, yet simple words of kindness from strangers moved them to weeping. Stood once again at the observation deck. This time she did not feel despair. She felt hope. She felt wonder. She had come to this place expecting death and had found something far more valuable. She had found proof that compassion could survive among the stars. She had found evidence that power did not require cruelty. She had found friends in a universe she thought was filled only with enemies. The journey home would take many cycles, but knew exactly what she would tell the council when she arrived. She would tell them about humanity. She would tell them about a species that chose to rescue instead of destroy. She would tell them that the galaxy was changing, one act of kindness at a time. And perhaps, she thought, they would choose to be part of that change. Perhaps they would learn from these remarkable humans. Perhaps, together, they could build something better than either species could achieve alone. The stars no longer seemed so cold and empty. They seemed full of possibility, full of promise, full of hope. Commander smiled for the first time in many, many cycles. The universe had finally surprised her in the best possible way.